I just like yellow.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, it is Thursday, the first day of September, 2022. County Board of Commissioners are now in session. Commissioner Vero joined by Commissioner Banks and Mears, our clerk Stacy Crawl. The crew from the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services, Mr. Trolley and Ms. Branham, County Administrator Andrew Keller. For those in Zoom land, Archie McMicrowave is in the back setting up. We have Woody and Buzz online today.
Alan Carl are on.
You have Alan Carl from the News Journal and Sword. So Mr. Trollian is here for proclamation on Recovery Month and to just kind of go over the month as a whole and the events. So Joseph, take it away.
Are celebrating once again September's Recovery Month. Obviously, I say we bookend the summer. We do May as Mental Health Month to get everybody excited for summer. And then we do Recovery Month to bring everybody back in. We got family events coming up. We want people to continue to work on their road to recovery. So gives us a good opportunity to get out there and really promote the services that we have in the community. We kicked off yesterday with the annual International Overdose Awareness Day. I love how the state says, oh, it's our second annual. We've been doing this for like 7 or 8 years. So, but we have a regular event down in Lexington. Group comes together. They do a candlelight vigil for people that we've lost to overdoses. But we also do a lot of celebrating recovery stories and really hearing the success that we see. You know, a lot of times we get really blindsided by, you know, what's the number? How many people have died this year? Well, I'll tell you one nice number to hear is that we've got about 3,600 people that are actively in recovery now, and that's been pretty consistent for the last 10 years
in the county.
Yep. And so those are what we really want to talk about this month, are the people that are really doing what they need to do. This community, we embrace all roads to recovery. I've worked with other organizations that they're like, well, it's got to be done this way, or here's the only evidence-based practice that we use. We talk with everybody, what's going to work for you? Is it going to be a lot of family support, a little clinical help? Is it going to be a lot of clinical help, a few family members that we know are still supportive, and maybe wrapping a church around them or some other type of community? We will look for the different roads and let people kind of drive their own car. We've got some really cool events coming up this month, and I made sure you have copies of the big flyers for all of them. I'm going to go through them real quick. On September 10th, and that's a Saturday at 11 a.m., we're going to have our first annual recovery picnic right at the gazebo there in Central Park. And for 2 hours, people are going to stand up, give some recovery stories. I'm going to speak briefly. I've been told I have to be very brief, just about some of the services that are available in the community. But it's an initiative that was actually started by someone in my office who Mike Sizemore is very excited to actually get out and really start doing something. And so he thought of this idea, pulled some people together, and I'm like, take it and run with it. And he's done a great job of pulling this together. We have our third Responding to Addiction town hall meeting that'll take place in Ontario schools. That's going to be September 14th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And it's a really neat evening. We've got Casey, who brings their Hidden in Plain Sight. So they actually set up a bedroom and talk about the latest things that people are using to hide substances or using as paraphernalia that a lot of people would completely glance over and it wouldn't even register. And I always encourage people, even if you've seen it once, come again, because Casey is continually updating that, because as we discover the items, they come up with new ones. So it's really kind of staying on top of that. We have Zach Reeder. He's actually a practitioner with Family Life Counseling, but he's in recovery and he's going to tell his recovery story. We're still deciding who we're getting from Met-Rich, but we usually have someone from Met-Rich, one of the detectives, that will come and talk about what people can expect if law enforcement's on the scene, what we can do to make the process go better. And also the things that we are doing that involve kind of those inroads between behavioral health services and law enforcement, our opiate response teams, our specialty dockets, the idea that we have services in the jail. I can't tell you how many parents I talk to that say, you know, I don't want to have my child arrested. That just seems like getting him in the system. And I'm like, it's not actually a bad thing. If we can't get them to come into services, we can take the services right to them because we have staff in the jail 7 days a week. So it's a great way to kind of get things started. And a lot of times with our specialty dockets, people have the ability to either have records expunged, have charges held in abeyance until completion, new options that can come into play that may be able to help not have that hanging over their head for the rest of their life. Dr. Baca is going to do a Narcan training. So if you've been saying, I really want to have that Narcan, but I just don't want to, I haven't been able to attend any of the trainings. It's a great place to do it. We embed it right in the middle of the town hall meeting. I'm going to do a little presentation on just the different services that we have available. And then Starfish is going to talk a little bit about family advocacy and supports. And then we do a question answer session at the end. So it's a great 2 hours, great way to get information. And if you can't make this one, keep watching your calendars. Our goal is to hit probably 3 or 4 of these throughout the next year. I know Shelby is tentatively looking at October. I think they're waiting to see how everything pans out with their new school. And I've got Lexington tentatively on the schedule for February. I think they said we don't want anything going on until this construction is done. But once we have parking lots in place, it might be a good thing to do. Really neat event that's coming up is we have Kevin Hines. It's an evening with Kevin Hines. This is a gentleman that tells a wonderful, inspirational story. Honestly, a very difficult situation that he went through. He is one of the people who survived jumping from the Golden Gate Bridge. He says a quote in one of his articles. He regretted his decision the minute his fingers left the rail. And he's been traveling the country now talking about getting help, looking for help before you get to this point. He's got a wonderful documentary that he's going to give an overview of. But we've got him for 2 hours on September 24th. It's from 7 to 9, and it's at the Renaissance Theater. They've been gracious enough to give us a theater, so this is open to the public, no charge. We've even talked him into giving us popcorn and sodas and soft drinks for free for that event. So, but if you have time, please come in. It's a great story to hear, and we actually have staff that will be available that if it really does set somebody off, that they're going to be able to respond to you right then. So, and then you always have on the back our latest one pager. So we encourage you to keep those up to date, but there's a lot of other events that are going on throughout the month. And this calendar, as always, will expand as we move along. So I encourage everyone to come out. This is going to be a good recovery month.
We listened to the coroner's report Tuesday, and the coroner's report, our suicides are down a little bit. The fentanyl and other drug overdoses are not.
Right.
And seems to me the best thing we could do is close the border. And why we're not doing that, I know it's not your fault, Joe. Another Joe I worry why we haven't done that, and we're allowing the adults and kids to die.
In my personal opinion, I probably shouldn't say in a public meeting, but we had an epidemic and we shut everything down to try to stop that epidemic. We've had this epidemic since 2008. Why have we not done the same?
Preaching to the choir here, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood it.
I know.
Not political to me. Health and safety.
It lets you know that epidemic word becomes a buzzword.
I know what.
They'll use it when they need to.
I heard on the news what Joe Rogan would do about it, but I won't say that.
Any questions from Buddy?
Yeah,
Buzz, Woody?
well, there's no Buzz or Woody, but Joe, the town hall meeting in Ontario, September 14th. What are the hours for that?
It'll be 6 to 8. And it'll be right in the auditorium at the high school.
And I think that's the basic thing I needed to know. I got the rest of the dates and times and the Kevin. Do you know, this won't be in the story, but is Kevin Hines available for interview before the meeting on the 24th?
What I would suggest, and I think you actually have somebody who RSVP,
Okay.
we're doing our annual meeting ahead of time up in the ballroom. And he's going
Okay.
to do a quick teaser for the people that are attending that. And we've sent invitations out to the press. So
Okay. Well, very good. I appreciate it. That's what I need.
yeah, I think it's your new reporter, Grace. Is that?
Yes,
Yes, Grace.
yes.
Grace will be
Yep.
there.
That'll be outstanding. That's what I needed. Good to see you both. Thanks.
Carl, just quickly, if you need any more detail on the events, it's on our calendar on our website.
Okay. Thanks, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Yeah, quite an amazing outreach that you do. Thank you for all the work you're doing.
I always tell my wife, we went out to the United Way Pillars event. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. We're gonna spend the night together and then she's not gonna see me for a month. So
That's lucky for her. Make it sound like that's punishment.
nah, we have a wonderful
Uh-oh.
marriage.
I can attest to that. They're best friends.
That one page thing you put out, I keep one, just in case. So much
It
information.
is the least expensive, best product we've ever come up with. And the fact that we can update it every 6 months and it isn't a huge expense to go through it and do that. It's been amazing. So
And that's always updated and current on our website too, Daryl.
Well, we thank you guys for what you do. You provide an excellent service. You provide a service and you do it well. So thank you. Sherry, always good to see you. Need anything, you know where to find us.
yeah.
Yep, proclamation.
No, do we do a proclamation? I have that, don't I?
Put it in your.
Yeah, I grabbed it. Sorry.
You do.
I always put them away so I don't lose. I didn't.
Well, I think it's great that you get out there for people to come.
You know, Cliff, you're dressed up nicely in case I want to get a picture.
In this county, I've told people, man, word of mouth is your best bet. And you can do whatever you want. I get not talking to people you're not thinking.
You're gonna take a picture, I get Sherry in there.
That's yours.
Thank you.
Well, I don't think I need to read
No.
the rest word for word, but it's just that on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, on behalf of proclamation, recognizing Richland County Recovery Month. For all you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And get this say.
Good to see you all.
All right, good to see you guys.
Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Yeah, it's a appointment day today. Okay, motion to certify the record of proceedings for August 30th, 2022.
So moved.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
thanks.
Yes,
Motion to approve requisitions.
So moved.
second,
Commissioner Barrow,
I'm here.
Yeah, Cliff wouldn't sign that. Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes,
Okay, motion to approve interdepartmental transfer. Stacy, can you please make sure? I know Cassie's new and she's doing a good job, but she didn't put a reason for her transfer. They are transferring money out of salaries, which doesn't bother us as much, but we'd like to know why they're transferring money. So a motion, please.
So moved.
second,
Barrow,
Yes.
Mears,
Yes.
Banks.
yes.
Okay, that is it until 10 a.m. when we come back into session here. Any questions from the media?
I do have one other
Okay.
that we're not gonna vote on anything today, but just a heads up for everybody. The Sheriff's Department has a grant to place 16 cameras throughout the county roads and all. In Richland County, the state's also doing the same thing. They are not connected to traffic monitoring or anything like that. It's just case of a crime being committed, making it easier to find cars that are involved in crimes here, but also throughout the country. And we will determine, we're going to come up with Adam Gove and Andrew are working on a permitting process so that we make sure We have control over it,
We haven't identified locations yet, I assume.
not that I'm aware of. I would think that the police would be the best, the sheriff would be the best ones to do that.
Guess it would be based on traffic.
I would assume,
And their license plate readers.
yeah, they do read license plates.
That's their funds.
It's like Fast and Furious.
I assume these are something you can look at remotely at any time, live streaming.
That's our understanding.
You're probably not a lot of use of.
I would hope it's more than a deer camera. Any questions from the media?
Not for me, thanks.
Okay, we will recess and come back at 10 a.m. Okay, it is 10 a.m. We are back in session. We're joined by our Youth and Family Council Executive Director, Teresa Alt. She's here for a couple items today. The first is a contract with the Workforce Board.
Yes, so we would like to enter into an agreement with Galleon Crestline Chamber of Commerce for $41,099 for our Business Resource Network funds. We originally had an agreement with the Crawford Partnership back in January. They declined the funds, and Crestline Chamber wants to continue some of the work that Clint's been doing at our chamber with videos of businesses and outreach to high school individuals.
And why they declined the
They had a transition in leadership at the time.
So the agency that's supposed to be responsible for doing this didn't want the money to do it. Am I hearing that right?
In
I'm
January,
not being sarcastic, but
in January, Crawford Partnership, Gary Frankhouse went back to the family business and they didn't have a director yet. So their board decided at the time that they could not accept the funds because they were in transition. So now the Galleon Crestline Chamber is willing to accept the majority of the funds. There's still some funds available to do similar things as Clint's been doing, the videos to promote the area and the area businesses and wage survey and other business resource network.
we have confidence they'll do a good job.
Yes, Miranda Jones has a good track record.
Motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
All right, now we're here to discuss updating our service coordinator position. As you know, a couple years ago, we brought in wage scales and very professional job descriptions. It is the hope of this office that all elected officials eventually come under that same umbrella. And so we've been looking at our service coordinator position, and Teresa's here to kind of go over that.
Yes, so we worked with Jenny and she sent this to, Clemens and Nelson. And then we reviewed it by email, Daryl and myself. And this is the final product.
So I see we're changing the qualifications from an associate's degree to requiring a bachelor's degree. Any reason why that may be?
Well, or related discipline and 2 years work experience.
So if you look at the old one,
You have a copy of the old one? I don't see what changes.
I do have a copy of the old one. I'll send it to you. Hold on a second.
Talks about an equivalent combination of education, experience, and training.
I'm blowing that away. Hold on. Shoot. Hold on. Let me see.
You don't interpret the last line to allow us to hire someone with an associate's degree if they have a great deal of training and experience.
Oh, you just give me a second, please.
Sorry.
Thought I moved that over yesterday, but I may not have. Fantastic. Hold on, Cliff. There we go. There you go, Cliff. I got it. All right, I found it. Check your email.
Teresa, I would, reading that under qualifications where the last paragraph is of any equivalent combination of education, experience, and training, which provides the required knowledge, skills, and abilities. I would interpret that if you found somebody that didn't have a bachelor's degree, like they had a combination of education, experience, and training, you could hire them for this position.
Yeah, it said bachelor's degree and the old one preferred.
Okay.
And now it's saying that it's a qualification for this position Said possession of associate's degree from an accredited college required. And now it looks like we're changing it to a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
So just curious as to the reason for the change.
And we always would prefer someone with a bachelor's degree in social work. But we can, if they have,
It says and, Daryl, it doesn't say or. It says bachelor's degree and 2 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, where the old one did not say that.
okay,
It said associate's degree and 2 more years. I'm not saying yay or nay, I had took
Yeah,
the old
as-
one and the new one yesterday and went through the changes.
this market.
No, I'm not,
No, I understand.
I'm just, I mean, look, I do my research and I.
Right.
Possibly it'd be better to put in. How'd you word that? Preferred?
Bachelor's degree preferred.
Or. You still want to say and.
Or associates and 2 years related experience.
You want me to send you the old one? You can take a look at it.
I have it, so
Okay.
I'm sure I have it. I just have to.
I'm just going over the changes. The other question I had on the CAN system. We had a 30 to 90 day requirement on the old job description. For the needs assessment with each youth and family council within 30 days of referral and every 90 days during the service coordination mechanism process. So when doing the CANS assessment, we had 30 to 90 day requirements.
Mhm.
Do not see that in the new one. Just curious.
Are you looking at item number 2, the 25%?
Yes,
Okay,
the old one, we had time requirements and this one we don't.
okay. I can add those back in.
No, I don't, I mean, I'm just, again, asking reasons for the changes.
I mean, the QRTP is within 30 days of the request, and then the CANs on their caseload is 30 and 90-day follow-ups.
Yeah, and that was under the essential functions of the position in the old one, but I don't see the reference to the 30 or 90 days. Not that it necessarily has to be in there. Those are just the differences I saw in the job descriptions.
You know, certainly be part of the training and daily reviews.
Well, up to you. Those are just some changes I saw. If you guys are okay with it.
Position.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if this introduction of a bachelor's elevates it and would make it more difficult to recruit.
We received 3 or 4 through the actual posting that was in the past month. We also advertised on Indeed, and I was able to pull 3 or 4 folks to interview. And we have 2 that we've had second interviews with that are probably both would do a fine job. One is, and finance committee reviewed it on Monday, and then the council is going to review it today. One has
Associates or bachelors?
one has an associate's and one has a bachelor's, and I actually prefer the one with the associates because of the years of experience and because she has a record of staying at jobs for 5 years at a time, where the other ones had 4 jobs in 2 years.
4 jobs in 2 years.
Yeah, it's 6 months, 8 months. So it has been difficult, but it's been difficult for everyone, really.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to put bachelor's preferred or, but then you turn around and case like you're just talking about, and the 2 years preferred. So I don't know what, but I don't know if I was reading this and said to myself, well,
Something that might scare somebody.
I quit reading it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Up to you. I'll ask for a motion to approve. Wait, real quick, does this change any of the point factors in the final pay grade? Do we still come in at a pay grade of 6?
I believe so. Remember, we did this all backwards. So, so I'm just trying to clean it up. Because we did it all.
Well, but I guess I'm just asking, I presume there was a discussion between the both of you when you did the new job descriptions to say, are there any changes in the pay grades or?
No, I think we were looking at the 1743 as the start. And as you mentioned, that's a 6.
That would stay a 6?
Yes.
I understand.
Okay.
I think I would change it to say something like bachelor's degree
Preferred.
preferred. Does that mean, in this case, the case you're talking about, does that mean you have to
Does-
give it to that person? I wouldn't think so. You know,
Okay.
A motion to approve with the minor tweaks on the day requirement and the education requirement.
second,
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
yes.
Any questions from the media?
Yeah, what is this position responsible for?
This is a service coordination position with the council. So this is to assist families with multi-system youth who are involved in various agencies to coordinate the plan, the treatment plan, and help the family maintain the youth safely at home.
Okay, that's all I had.
Carl, any
Nothing.
question?
No, not right now. Thank you.
Okay, we will recess for 4 minutes and come back, 3 minutes now, and come back at 10:15.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, Teresa.
an extra $100. So
Okay, it is 10:15. We're back in session. We are joined by Lori Bedson, our Director of Job and Family Services. And she's just up here for a contract amendment. So Lori, take it away.
Yes. We're just here to ask approval to increase the Catalyst Life Services sub-grant agreement for youth services from the original amount of $570,733 to $640,733. That's an increase of $70,000. And this is just using TANF funds to increase that contract. This will allow Catalyst to continue to serve their in-school youth using these TANF funds through the month of September, so that they don't have to throw those costs over to WIOA funding, which if it goes into the WIOA funding, we have to follow a 75% expenditure rate for out-of-school youth and 25% expenditure rate for in-school youth. So if we throw these in-school costs over to that WIOA funding, it could skew that expenditure rate. So increasing the TANF amount just allows us to continue those services through the contract period of September.
and when I talked to Carmen, the money's there, money that she didn't appropriate for,
Hadn't been allocated
allocated.
for this purpose, but we do have the funding.
I'll make a motion that we do that.
Seconded.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes,
Commissioner Mears, Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
it was short. I guess any questions from the media?
None from me. Thanks.
Okay, we will recess and come back at 10:30 for our department head meeting. Okay, we are back in session for our department head meeting, joined by our department heads and some staff members. Carl now still there, right? So without further ado, Michelle, we'll go left to right, front row. We'll consider you in the front, so take it away.
Well, we have a lot going on at Dayspring. Our paving project is now finished. We have a nice, new half driveway. We have a new, parking area, a new concrete path that leads to our pavilion. The residents are already out there walking around, not falling in potholes. It's really terrific. Our nurses station addition is moving along. There's now walls. There's interior walls. I've had a number of residents ask me, how come they're metal? And I tell them they have to be metal. There's all metal studs inside because it's a commercial. I don't see Kara. Okay. I'm sure it's a commercial regulation. So that's exciting. We're seeing the progress. They're going to be punching the hole through the wall pretty soon to turn the window into a door. We've had such an active activity calendar lately. We had to increase the size of our activity calendar, and we decided to go into a newsletter for the residents. So there's a little blip from me and some other information and birthdays and things. And I thought I'd go ahead and pass some of these around to show you, see what's going on at Dayspring. There's an August and a September one. So they're excited about that. We are also going to be having our 4th annual 5K run, October 15th. I am waiting to hear back from Rachel. Hopefully that will be on our wellness for the county employees. It has in the past, so I don't see why it wouldn't this time. That will, the money that we raise from that will go to the Friends of Dayspring. Our levy program, as our levy is up next year. We are hopeful in October to have our usual Halloween community event, a trunk or treat. We'll keep everybody outside. The residents are really excited about that. And I think that's it for Dayspring.
This is a new newsletter? I mean, this is the first of.
Yeah, the August one was the very first one. And then September, we just released it yesterday. And if you open it up, you can see all of the exciting things and things that we take the residents to. Dayspring is, well, I always think it's special, but we're special because our people are mobile. So we can take them out. We can take them out to do crafts. We can take them out to go fishing, take them out to restaurants. They want to go to the lighthouse, so they figured out a way to get them out to the lighthouse, which I think is happening at the end of the month. So we are pretty packed. Actually, on the 24th, the plan was to have the tailgate party at Dayspring again. But we're excited to host that if it does come our way on the 24th.
I see the Belleville Street Fair.
Oh, I gotta go to the, oh yeah. Gotta go there.
Didn't know there was a National Cowgirl Day.
There is a national everything day.
Day, yes.
TV dinner day.
There is, yes.
It would be a lot of trouble to email this to us?
I have, I would like to start emailing. I have to see how it looks when we email it out.
Sure, right.
And once
Not just save it to a PDF.
PDF so that we can blow it up and print it as a poster, but I don't know how it shows up when you mail it.
I'm saying if you just email the PDF.
I can do that too.
It'd be great if you could.
I think it would be very, I think people are interested in what's going on, and sometimes we can't put everything on our Facebook page fast enough. So I think that's definitely something we want to do. We want to get a list together to tell everybody what's going on at Dayspring.
Great.
Okay, Kara, take it away.
I guess I snuck in and I get to be next. Building department, our big thing the past is we've got both schools that we're looking to be open Tuesday, next Tuesday. So we've been working hard with them to make sure they have all their stuff into us and that we're, they're getting inspections and we're following up with everything. We've spent a lot of time out there on both projects. Both of them will be open on partials. Lexington just has they had a section of bleachers that didn't come in properly, so they're not fully done, but Shelby only is opening a part of their building while they finish the middle school. Their middle schoolers will still be in the existing middle school for the start of school, but they will both be able to, at least from our standpoint, be able to open on time. And I believe they both sent out things that they are opening on Tuesday. So good for them. 2 new schools in our area. So we've also been working a lot with some of our jurisdictions on unsafe structures. We have several of the townships and villages and cities that are looking to start using some of their funds to get rid of some of the abandoned buildings and that sort of thing. So we have been doing a lot of that as well. Been working on the new permitting, our department software, the geo permits. We have a lot of our simpler permits up so that we're testing them, kind of going through them to make sure they're right. We're working on the very hard setup for the commercial permits just from before we can even test it. But that is, I've been sitting down to work on workflows for that and it's crazy. But we're working our way through the ones that have workflows done, editing them, and we've also started testing some of them with actual, like our electric services. We have some of our contractors that we're already having tested. They'll submit through that so we can see how it goes and everything. So those are the big things that we've been working on. I'm still working on
Fee structure.
some fee structure stuff to go through stuff and all that kind of stuff. But the unsafe structures in the schools kind of have taken up a lot of the time. I figured those were fairly important to get those things taken care of. So that's where we're at.
Thank you. Joseph?
So, we've been really busy. Obviously, spills have kind of decreased. Last bill was in July, out of Route 30 is just a spill. We're used to those. Weather, tired of watching weather. Been a real active summer for tornado warnings. And
What's Columbus look like on Saturday? Saturday night?
pretty good.
Does it?
Might be a chance of rain, spotty showers pop up, but exercises, I have done a couple of other exercises with a couple of the nursing homes here in the county, Winchester. Critical care, LEPC side of the house is very busy as well. The state fiscal year ended. So now, the final reports for the fiscal year starting back in last July. The biggest thing that we are working on is the sirens. And I know, Cliff, I gave you that just completed. Had a communication with VASU today. They completed the annual inspection of all the sirens. And we are now just awaiting the rest of everything that needs to be repaired on the siren. Once I get that, I will send that to you for further discussion. Solar eclipse, again, I have another presentation Saturday night. The Richland County Astrological Society, they wanted to hear that. And then I was approached from, I don't remember if you remember the gentleman from Seneca County the other night at the Townships Association.
Yeah.
He wants me to come and speak to the entire state, Ohio State Townships Association meeting in December. Your popular topic, it is. That's it.
Anything happened on 71 northbound? Pretty closer to 4 o'clock last night. It was backed up for a long time.
There was a semi accident right at the exit.
Oh, was there? They only call me if it's leaking diesel.
I was headed that way, but I got off there just as they were stopped and went down the side for about 100 yards and was got off.
All right, Lori Budson.
Recently, we were approached, the agency was approached by ShotSpotter and the Mansfield City Police to install a sensor on the main building, the one at 171 Park Avenue. That was approved by the commissioners. So the Mansfield City Police Department did seem pretty encouraged by having that sensor there because it is a high-risk area. So we were happy to be able to participate in that project. We do also have some renovations coming up in our Ohio Means Job Center building, the 183 Park Avenue building, on the south side and the west side of the building. There's windows and doing some structural. We believe that is set to start probably in the next couple of weeks, and it may take about 4 to 6 weeks to be completed. We have had to move some caseworkers out of that area and into the main building, but we did have room to do that. Wasn't a problem. It will curtail some of our classes that go on in that building, but some of them have been also moved into the main building. So we hope to not disrupt those things too much. We have an Ohio Means Job Center and Chamber Job Fair coming up at the end of this month, September 29, at the Mid-Ohio Center, and that will last from 10 to 2, and that is open to anyone. We're looking for students, college students, high school students, adults that maybe are already employed but might be underemployed, people who have been laid off, so just open to anyone. And that can be any other communities as well. They can come from other counties, surrounding counties. So we'll be getting something out through the chamber probably within the next couple of days. We will be asking individuals to register through SurveyMonkey. We have a link to do that, or a QR code, so that they can register. And that way we have an idea of how many people are coming before the event. Just maybe to give you a snapshot of what we do at the agency. During the month of August, the agency had received a total of 2,309 applications. Those are applications for Medicaid, food assistance, and cash assistance, and also childcare. The agency received 7,947 calls during that month. And between the Ohio Means Job Center and the main building, we had 2,244 walk-in visitors to the agency. So even though those numbers are down from what it was like before COVID, I hate to keep saying pre-COVID, but we're still seem to be in that pattern. We are starting to see an uptick in the people walking into both buildings. So we'll continue to meet that need for the community.
Janet.
Okay, Charleston is doing very well. Through the end of July, we've collected over 9.7 million. So our thorough fiscal year will be up the end of September. So sometime mid-October, we'll have our final for the year of where we're at, but we should be well over 10 million by that time. So it's about 2.5% from what we were last year. We've just gotten through our busiest season, which is emancipations, changing the orders and getting children off that have graduated and getting that stuff taken care of. So we've just finished up the bulk of doing that. We do have a listing out there for some caseworkers and a clerical and stuff. So hopefully I've gotten a lot of feedback from Indeed. I posted it out there on that. And so hopefully I've been sending them notices to make sure they fill out the complete application here and get it up to the office here. So hopefully those will come through. I think that's running through September 16th. And then we'll be going through the applications and getting that taken care of. Josh has been down at the building there this morning, working on some things. And hopefully we'll get our sidewalk fixed that we've had some issues with. And so we're looking forward to getting that project done. We've been doing some kind of just general house cleaning, getting some old files scanned and sent off, trying to make room for more files and stuff. So that's where we stand. We're doing pretty good so far.
You're getting a number of applicants. Are they early to tell if they're good applicants or you?
I've gotten quite a few that are good that have at least associate's degrees out of North Central. Some that have a bachelor's degree. So yeah, we're getting some pretty good applicants out of it. So I'll be glad to see those all come in and hopefully be able to get some good people started shortly.
Out of that 9.7 million, is most of that just people that the spouse voluntarily pays that, I assume? Or is this 9.7 that you got to go shake down?
No, it's 9.7 is what, just what we have collected in, whether it's somebody walking in the door paying or we're getting it from a wage authority order, because generally everything has to be done by a wage authority order, unless you're self-employed or you're just coming in to make payments because you're unemployed, but you're not able to get unemployment. We do get, money from unemployment. We get money from tax offsets, that kind of stuff. So that would be a total of all of that coming in.
So my wife throws me out and I owe child support. It all goes through you or?
For the that if you're a Richland County order, yes, it goes through us. Yes. Yep.
Melissa?
So we're still really busy. We're fluctuating between 67 and 82 dogs any given day. So far we've adopted out 309 dogs. We got a $5,000 donation from somebody, from a couple, to reduce our adoption fees. So right now they're $79. Got about $3,500 left from that $5,000 donation. So about 49 more adoptions. We had a recent event where we were raising money for our medical funds out at Phillips. So we have about $25,000 left in our medical fund at Phillips there. So that's really nice. We had an event at the Carousel's 31st anniversary where we took dogs out and 4 of them have been adopted as a result of that event. They want us to come back for their Halloween event. Little Buckeye is asking us to co-host their first Friday in October. So we'll have adoptable dogs out there, and then we'll have adoptable dogs at Tractor Supply in September. We have our new floor. We don't have that bright blue color anymore, so it looks very nice in the shelter. So they just have to do a few little pieces in my office, but everything viewable by the public looks really, really nice. The new kennel should be completed in March, and our small dog side, but soon to just be renovated side. Then we are on track to have the records that have been sitting there since like 1985 cleaned out by the end of this year and brought up on schedule. So that will clear up a large portion of the room for us. And then I've been working with IT on researching different shelter software so that we can stop using paper for our shelter and move to a electronic dispatch and records keeping of it.
That it?
That's it.
Josh?
The maintenance has been busy finishing up summer projects, concrete, parking lots and that stuff. They did a new parking lot at JFS. The OMJ, I'm waiting on that to kick off. I talked to the contractor yesterday. They're just waiting on windows at this point. Warner Roofing stocked a roof at Park Building yesterday. They're scheduled to start end of next week. The estimate for concrete and child support. Had a new guy start today, actually, John Rand. Gonna be doing a lot of work out at Dayspring. Trying to get that back up to where it needs to be. And lots to just keep him busy.
Andrew?
Been a busy quarter for the commissioner's office. As far as interesting highlights, probably is the American Rescue Plan Act awards. Just give a sampling of Some of the more notable awards this quarter in June was the $500,000 award towards the Westinghouse demolition project. July was a $117,000 award for Palm Park, kind of a restroom sewer improvement down in Belleville. August was a wastewater lift station generator that will probably won't be installed for months, if not years. but,
Hey, my
the award is
52
accomplished.
weeks are going down right
Yeah,
now,
every
so.
day. So Amanda's excited about that one. That was $101,000 and some change. Amanda's the only one that finds wastewater exciting. Won't say anymore. Sturkle Community Park for All, $500,000 award. Some of you might be familiar with that from the news, but that's a inclusive playground. Actually conveniently located close to hundreds of homes and also a rain free. Both service a lot of families with special needs. And we've also contributed $600,000 approximately towards roof repair at the fairgrounds on Fairhaven and Youth Hall Arts and Crafts building. We're familiar with those buildings. The commissioners are helping with that. More new cruisers for the sheriff's office, and we've kicked off our fourth courtroom, clerk of courts relocation. The design component of this project here in the county administration.
Kelly?
Couple things. I gave everyone a handout. The latest COVID guidelines issued by the Department of Health on 8/23. Previously, I had been providing everyone, or when you would call me, I'd refer to the CDC's guidelines. But interestingly, when I went to pull those, they had on their website that they had not updated their own guidelines. So I went to the Ohio Department of Health instead, and that's what you have here. And it's kind of notable that when we started out, these guidelines would be multiple pages, and now we have two. And they're, quite simplified. The biggest change here is that what happens if you're exposed, and what they're calling for now is that if you don't have symptoms and you've been exposed, regardless of your vaccination status, you can still work as long as you wear a mask for 10 days. And I understand, Michelle, may have you're special. So it might be a little different in Michelle's situation in a congregate living setting, but for most of us with your typical work environment, those are the guidelines. We also recommend that you should go ahead and test after 5 days. And that if that is positive, you stay home for the remaining 5 to 10 days, and if it's negative, you still work and continue to mask. Second topic, cybersecurity. It is becoming more and more prevalent and concerning. I have, of course, the annual meeting from tomorrow, and I'm sure that will be discussed. It's getting more and more difficult for entities to be insured in this area because it's just such a huge risk. I wanted to bring this up specific to a policy that the county auditor issued recently. Everybody would have received it, but in the event you didn't pay much attention to it, I would like to ask that you go back and revisit that. Make sure it is distributed and acknowledged in writing by all of your employees. I had an issue in a non-commissioner department where they've not followed the policy. Their access has been revoked. And now we have people who basically can't perform their job for 14 or 30 days.
Is that another elected office?
So here's where that gets a little tricky. And actually we may want to discuss this at some point because the auditor oversees county IT. He has set policy on that. And we haven't typically ever, stepped in and done anything ourselves. So that is what went out. So anyone who's on the county network has to abide by that policy. And the specific issue here was around the know before trainings. If people aren't doing them, you don't have access. And so we just really need to make sure our employees are aware of that and let them to sign off. Because if we have someone, for example, who's in a union and we aren't able to show that they received the policy, then we have some challenges with enforcing any kind of this. We have our annual mandatory Corsa training, which is part of our annual loss control incentive program coming up on September 14th. That's from 9 to 11:30 at Longview. What all of our department heads are required to attend. I also encourage you to invite any of your management level staff as well. This year, they're going to have, it's going to be a little bit different. The topic is how to avoid claims, and it's going to be a presentation of HR case studies, which is a little more real world, and hopefully none of the examples come from us. Always good. And my final topic is related to that, but this year Corsa has offered an incentive bonus program. And just in case you aren't aware, that incentive program, what it does for us is if we meet all of the requirements, we receive a discount on our premium. And our premium right now is over $350,000 annually. So any type of discount, really important, every little bit counts. So we have our initial loss control incentive program that they do, but this year they have added a bonus component, and it's an auto incentive. And what they are requiring is that 80% of our employees who drive on county business and take either an in-person or online defensive driving course, or Corsa University online component does have other courses that would be eligible for this. So for example, there is an in-person class coming up September 21st, 22 from 8 to 10 at Longview. The in-person classes are great. Online classes are good too if time is an issue. Some people get confused about what does it mean driving on county time, or for county business rather. And so if you drove here today, for example, then you drive on county business. And so they're trying to make sure that as many of our drivers are going through this training. It is good training. Sometimes people, private insurance carriers will also give you some kind of discount having been through such a training. So it can be kind of a bonus in that respect. And if we meet the auto incentive bonus, we will receive an additional 25% of our full loss control bonus amount. So again, every little bit counts. If anyone has any questions on that, you can email it. That's all I have.
And last but not least, Amanda Miller.
So my, it's so much thunder with my generator, as you saw me back here pumping in the air. I'm excited. Countdown is good. We also finally got our IT disaster recovery plan done and approved. And we did our first annual scenario and went through very well. Done a couple of little things that we need to tweak for next year to make this plan work great. But we were able to have our IT department back up and running, ready to go within 4 hours. All set. So that was better than what we expected. Other than that, we're just doing our normal basic maintenance and repairs. While we were doing our rehabs at our lift stations, and we had a couple of our generators service, calling Buckeye Power because they needed more work than we were able to do. But they're running, I think, working great again, and I'm happy.
That it? Okay, questions from the media?
None for me, thank you.
Nothing for me. Nope, I'm good, thanks.
Excellent. Well, thank you all for the work you're doing. And we will talk to you probably too much, and have a good rest of the week.